Oh my gosh, we're finally recording. I am here with Scott Goble. Can you tell me a little bit more about your art?
Sure, sure. Well, I'm I guess whimsical surrealist is how it's been described at some points. I'm basically a painter, a fine artist. I got a degree of marketing and graphics and all that, and I realized real quick that writing ads and copy wasn't where I was at. So I kind of just stuck to my thing and started painting, and that's kind of where I've got to, and I've been doing that for a while. I sold my first painting when I was 11 years old. Ever since then, I've been involved in art. I've never really done anything that wasn't art related, from a special effects makeup artist to a taxidermy detailing artist. I'm a screen printer, done screen graphics, and pretty much art related jobs my entire life. So I really don't know too much any quote real skills.
Well, that's really fortunate and amazing.
I'm blessed.
Yeah.
I'm totally blessed. I wouldn't change. There's the artist life, and the feast and famine, and that's all there. But the whole bad idea that you got to be dead to make money, that's not true. I raised my son on my art. Like I said, as a single father, I grew up. I painted, I sold it everywhere. Anybody that would look at my art, I would take it and show it on corners and everything I could. And through the screen printing and the arts, I was able to raise my son. So it is a viable option.
Yeah.
It's not just a pastime, and the serious artists that are out there that commit to it, it's a full-time job. You don't walk away from that job. It's in your head all the time.
Yeah.
That's why coming back, growing up here, I was an artist then, and my art teacher, who, bless her heart, from Montpelier, she was so supportive of what I did. She just kept saying, "You can do this, and I believed her. I believed in her, and she came. I had a show 2 years ago, and she came to the show, and we both cried like babies. I mean, I kid you not. It was beautiful. It was just a beautiful thing, and she actually bought one of my pieces, and I'm just so honored that she has it. Coming back to a small town, I know there's so much talent in this area. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I've talked to people and witnessed it, and I just want to let them know, you can do this. You can do this. Just do it. We need more beauty in the world. That's all there is to it.
Absolutely, 100%. That's yes.
And I think if we can get people more in a mindset where being dependent on themselves and their passions, and if it generates an income to boot, it's a win-win. I mean, there's so many people right now, they're standing in a factory and they're so talented, but they're there because they have to.
Yep.
And, and as an artist, most of us are extreme introverts, and I get that. And getting over that hump is a huge thing.
Yeah.
And the only way to do it is just do it. Just do it. There's no time like now.
That's absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's such a vulnerable thing to put your art out into the world.
Sure.
And there are people that no matter what you do are going to hate what you do.
Yeah, you take all that out. You say, what, it don't matter.
Absolutely.
It don't matter. Once you lay it out, and once you start getting a collection of going, you'll self-inspire. You'll realize, I got this, I can do it. And then start taking pieces out of your life or the environment around you and feel that. Suck that into your heart and soul, and it'll come out in your hands.
Yeah.
And just keep doing it. And other people, when they see it and they recognize it, I mean, I've had a woman that I was set up at a fair, and she kept walking by, and then she stopped me and she burst into tears. And I was just like, I went up and I said, "Are you okay? Can I help you?" And this piece I had done reminded her of a family member, and she started talking to me. Pretty soon I just gave her the piece. Short. I said, "This was meant for you. I can tell you right now, it was meant for you, because to have that kind of connection with a complete stranger, it just validates it. It really does. It validates what you're trying to accomplish."
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. And so I wonder, do you think you would have turned out differently, or do you think your life would have turned out differently had you grown up somewhere else?
I knew sticking around here, I knew what I wanted to do. I'm going to go out and I'm going to make art. I knew the hurdles around here, being from around here, and I knew the world was a whole lot bigger. I just needed to go and sample it. And once I did, I've got an earful and an eyeful. But then I realized there's other me's that are around here right now that just don't think they've got a voice.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's listening. And I tell them, you paint till you're screaming paint, in my particular art. And I said, you just do it. And the naysayers and all that, you got to know there's somebody out there that believes in you and what you're doing. And if you can, I've had a very colorful life. And if I could give that to someone else to go out to jump in and it comes out good, wow, I did something, and that would be all right with me.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's really, I mean, for me anyway, that's what art's about. It's about connection. It's about, like you said, fostering beauty in the world. And just, I don't know, there's something about human connection that is inextricable from art.
Oh, and I went to shows and just walked by pieces, and some of them just reach out and grab you and pull you in front of them, and then. And when I have somebody who's a non-artist, but a collector coming up and telling me about my painting and what it means to them, and man, it gives me shivers sometimes because I see it now. I see it from their point. I mean, I know what it was like from my brain to the paper to the canvas, but hearing how it's touching someone else in something, that's. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's deep. You really got excited. And for that connection, like I said, I could name so many people that I've just felt that with. And that's bigger than the painting itself. To me, that's real stuff.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think, too, that, there's a school of thought that once you put something out into the world, it's not yours anymore.
Right.
It belongs.
Why has it got to be anybody's?
Yeah, that's true.
I like my art to be in the world. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I do it, for people to look at it. And, if they put it in their living room or it's in a show, and I've got I paint on a different just canvas. I paint on musical instruments, and so I've got a pretty wide collection base.
Yeah.
And it's so nice that, to be able to add a little something, because now that I know a little bit more about their life, if I'm doing a piece for them, I can add a little something of their life into the piece.
Yes.
And that just makes it a little tighter with them.
Yeah.
I think. Art can create miracles, and all it takes is the right couple of people to meet up and to have an idea, and that can change the world. I used to tell my son, the only thing you can count on is change. Everything's going to change. It always does. It always will.
Yeah.
But if you can do a little part to change it for the better, man, that can have a ripple effect that just reaches out across the globe even.
Mm-hmm. What do you love about Bryan? Why do you come back?
Well, like I said, I drove through, and I was planning on going to the East Coast. I had shows scheduled all down the East Coast, but seeing my parents and being older, I thought, I think I'm just going to hang a little bit, because I've been gone I lived away longer than I lived here. Mm-hmm. And being here, reconnecting, and going to some of my old, places I used to do, it felt nice. It felt, I wanted to capture a little bit of it in the art and everything else, and seeing it, and then meeting some of the local musicians around here, some of the other artists. I just think I'd like to see something better come out of it. And I think Bryan is ideal for that very location and this very idea. I really do.
Yeah. Do you think that there's enough artists in Bryan to sustain a kind of arts-based economy, or to even begin to conceive of something like that?
I think that we have the ability to do a draw, if not. I think we have a good stock, but I think that we have the ability to do a draw. Growing up, my biggest dream growing up was working at Ohio Art, and I probably would have been there assembling Etch-a-Sketches and actually doing art and everything. But the fact that this community has that as a backbone, it's a toy thing, but it's here. It's a beautiful city. I mean, there's a pride to it and everything, and like I said, if you taking out some of them big buildings and putting in some other art things, I think it would wildfire. I think it would fan itself. Yeah. And if you could get enough behind it and actually ignite into something. Well, and if you drove around the area, you're familiar with the area, everybody within 50 miles of this area are all working on the same concept of the factory and this and that. Mm-hmm. So Bryan almost has an obligation to take this and run with it, because they've always been, back in the day, you always came to Bryan to cruise, this was kind of like, it ain't the city, but it's our next best thing. And Bryan to have, the resources it has, and to have the area, and it's a beautiful little town.
It really
and
is.
To have all that, they could really, I really think it would step up for everybody, and it could only encourage more growth at that point. I just want to see. I really think that everybody's out there just lurking, waiting to be called. I mean, I like to believe that. I really do.
Yeah.
Right now, I mean, I know when I was young, man. We'd had this conversation when I was, the rebel artist I was back in the day. I don't know. It would have been life changing. Well, there's others out there that are still feeling that way.
Yeah.
And they're the future generation.
Mm-hmm.
I think the stigma of them being able to come out and say, I want more than that,
mm-hmm.
it's intimidating. And so growing up in the area, as my dad worked for the Williams County Sheriff's Department. And, well, I was a long hair, and, I was that kid that walked around with a sketch pad. So there was a constant butting of heads from that. But I guess the point coming out of it was, they're still here. They just, some of them, and they're gonna give up. And if we let passion die because of just no life raft, and that's part of a community problem, I think.
Yeah.
We got to foster that. You got to have a place for people to go, and for that energy, that thing to create.
mm-hmm.
You have three smartest people in the world sitting in their rooms, and nothing comes out. Put them together.
Yeah.
And you got to. Nothing inspires me more than talking to people like you, other artists,
mm-hmm.
that I know, okay, my passion isn't just insanity, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
And I think everybody needs to feel that, and I think that in itself was the way to start it.
Mm-hmm.
We can't let this passion die. We just can't let that thing that takes you from being a factory worker to a creator. That's gold, and you got to foster that.
Yeah.
You really do. I believe that.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of these smaller towns that I've been through, they get into a rut, and so the first thing they do is just keep digging.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, slow down, wait, if you're doing this and doing this, it's the same thing, but new idea. I mean, that's a hard push.
Yeah.
A new idea.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, if we hadn't grasped that new ideas, we'd probably, I don't know, we wouldn't be driving cars, we wouldn't be having cell phones, we wouldn't be doing these things.
Yeah.
But getting the general populace to accept it. So I'm being an artist. You know what? You ain't got to accept it, but I'm going to put it right in front of your face. And so, because if you ain't going to gather the masses, if you gather enough of the few, though, that's a start.
Right.
And I traveled the West Coast, all through there. I've stopped in just unbelievable little towns. I'd stop and go in whatever their local art community was. I would go in and just introduce myself and hang out for the day and talk, or maybe give a little workshop, or do whatever we could. I still talk to them to this day. I'll get little letters, and hey, they'll send me things they're working on, and I find that was a spark. And I know they had it before them, but the fact that I did it and we've connected, that's a start.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I think I'm hoping that more people will come to this project and want to tell their stories and realize that there are more people like them right next door than they ever could have imagined.
They never have a clue, never have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them, even they've got to shield it from their own families and stuff.
Yeah.
Because, there's an expectation of this and that and everything. And, all that stuff usually washes itself out and works itself out. But if that idea can get fostered into a community, then all it takes is that little bit of, I think I can do it. Somebody else right beside you saying, yeah, we can do it. And then a crowd shouting, we're going to do it.
Yes.
And, and then that's how it gets started right there. So I'm all for it. I'm counting. We can't let art die. I mean, right now with everything going on and all that we need it. We need it now more than ever. And there's no reason not to have an explosion of new creators come out and look at the whole world situation through some different eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Oh, I'm excited.